Morning, good morning, good morning. It's fuck. I need to stop saying good morning. It's not the morning, it's the evening. Good lord. Anyway, well, it's gonna be morning somewhere. Am I right, people? Am I right, people? Hello, Mina. Welcome, Nat. Welcome, James. Hello, hello. Good to see you all. Hello, 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 hello. Can I fucking what the frick? God, I updated fucking OBS before the stream and it's all different and I hate it. I don't like it. It's all different. Hello. Yes, hello there. Hello. Yes, morning somewhere. Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. Yeah, so lots of things to talk about today and not very much time. Today is not going to be a very long stream, I'm going to be honest. I know, I'm sorry. I really don't like disappointing people like this, but unfortunately, yeah, I got kind of fucked up earlier, and if I stream the limited 2 hours, I will not eat tonight. So unfortunately, what's kind of got unfortunately, I just don't really have a choice about this one. I mean, I'm fine with that, but it will upset my routine, and Paul's routine will also be fucked. So, apologies, that's on me, but also not on me because showering just didn't really work out today. So, there's that. Anyway, hello there, indeed. So, lots of things to talk about, so we won't waste any time. So, yes, unfortunately, we won't be playing anything today. That's just on me because, booked it up. I woke up in plenty of time. I got up in plenty of time, showered, and then, well, no, I didn't even get that far. I was like, I'll go have a shower. And then I went to have a shower and fucking no towels. So I went to go and get them. And who came home at that exact moment? And one of his kids. So I was naked. I could not leave the bathroom. Was it why my suit seemed was so I couldn't leave the bathroom, so I was kind of just a bit fucked. Like getting a little closer to you guys. Also, I apologize if my tracking is a bit violent. I'm experimenting with the parameters. Learned last week. They seem to just reset themselves. I'm not really sure what's going on. But they're not really great, is the truth of it. It's either way too aggressive, or it's like not aggressive enough, and it's just like, I'm trying. But it looks a lot better, so like we're moving a lot more now. Like we're not as like static like when we were like expressing happiness, now it's like, oh look, I can actually look around. Ao naked deer. No, I was not a naked deer. I had to get Paul to bring the towels up. Feels bad, man. Anyway. But I'm not naked now. I'm dressed. I'm fully dressed. I'm fully clothed. And I'm showered and I'm clean. And it's fine. It's great. I'm like in my element. It's good. It's fine. It's whatever. So, I think it's time I talk about what happened this week. So, if you guys weren't here on Monday, or you missed it, or you were here and you didn't quite catch the update because you're not, or if you're just new here, I had my autism assessment on Monday, and part of that assessment was either going to be I would receive a diagnosis, I would be denied a diagnosis, or I would have to go for further investigation. Good morning, Red Hello, hello, hello. Well, not good morning. God damn it! I will get used to it, I swear. Well, if it ain't a belovedism rodent, I'm not a rodent. God damn it. Maybe in Australia, I don't know. So, where was I? God damn it. Ratson, you literally throw me off my conversation so much. God damn it. So basically what happened was I was sat here in this exact room at 11 o'clock, as I am every single Monday, except this time I wasn't streaming. I was actually doing my assessment, which was at 11 o'clock, ironically, which is why I couldn't stream. Also because afterwards, you might be thinking like, oh, well, Jasper, why didn't you stream afterwards? Afterwards, I it was an exhausting experience. Not because like the actual like or the assessment was bad or anything. It was really good. They were really good to me in it. The problem was that I was afterwards just emotionally just drained. Masking takes a lot of effort. And I was trying really hard not to, and that's not something I'm used to, so that was a lot of effort, and it was just like not a good time. Um, and also just answering the questions and stuff. It was a bit intense, but it was only an hour long. So, what happened, guys? The good news is, I think the most thing, if you want to skip the TLDR, your girl got diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder level 1 on Monday at midday in the UK. So yes, rabbit, deer, bird thing, shut the fuck up! Rude bird. Level 1, yeah, level 1. So there are 3 levels. I want to just stress that I know some people have opinions on the leveling system. I know some people like don't like it. I know some people think that it actually like means anything. Because I hate to break it to you, it really doesn't. It's just a way they kind of the leveling system is categories of different traits of that kind of stereotypically fit into one another. Um, so for example, like masking abilities and the ability to speak would come under level 1, which is what I've got. Level 2 would be you can tell they have a disability, but like they might still be able to communicate. Level 3 is pretty much what you would expect when you hear autism, which is non-verbal. Usually sort of it's hard to explain because you don't want to like lesser people, especially when you're part of that spectrum now. But this is another thing: is that the leveling system doesn't work. The leveling system has come out of a sort of it was a sort of I understand it's basically a last resort. It's what they came up with when they got rid of the term Asperger's, which not that I want to like label myself in that because if you didn't know, Asperger's is a defunct term. It was used to separate functioning or what was considered functioning autistics from the lower functioning autistics, which is a very, very bad way of doing things, and I don't think it's a good thing at all. I'm just trying to give a really like dumbed down explanation of this, but it's like basically like the Asperger's syndrome was the label they gave to the high functioning autistics, and basically it was how do I say this without getting trouble on Twitch? It was used during a time in the world when some people there was a man in Germany that didn't like people, um, only liked a specific group of people, and very much liked to put of a certain religion and race in. I can't talk about it. I don't know if, to be honest, if anyone's like offended by me jumping around the topic, I don't know what I can say on Twitch. They're basically like, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. There was a not so nice group of people during one of the wars, and they would put people with disabilities into places that they were usually killed in, and occasionally were experimented on. And unfortunately, Asperger's syndrome was a label they gave to people who could function enough, or they deemed functionable enough to pass in society as a neurotypical person. Um, and the leveling system kind of came as a result of that term got defunct, and then we went on to high functioning and low functioning. But as we know, that's also a bad way of looking at it. Now they've gone for levels. I just don't get it. It's like, just label people with autism. Like, yes, I understand that I'm not as I'm more functioning than someone who is potentially diagnosed at a level 3, but that doesn't make our struggles any less similar. And that's just something I want to like kind of make very clear. Level 1. Let's just say Austrian painter and his people. Is that what he did? Oh my god, I can't stand. Anyway, basically, I have to be really careful talking about it because obviously, like, Twitch is kind of funny with these things, and they don't want people talking about political issues because it is unfortunately, like, I think class is a political issue. I don't know, which is shitty, but whatever. Basically, it's educational. Twitch, don't come for me. But basically, like, the leveling system was originally separated into two categories. It was autism and Asperger's, and I would have been diagnosed with Asperger's. I am not diagnosed with Asperger's. I will never be diagnosed with Asperger's. It doesn't exist anymore. We don't use it. Dr. Asperger's was a cunt. And I can say that because he was not a nice person. He experimented on autistics, or what he deemed autistics, and let people Asperger's go. Or that's what I understand from the limited research I've done on it. But basically, like, that was defunct not as long ago as you'd hope, but it was defunct recently. And then we went to high functioning, low functioning, and that was also considered discriminatory. Now we have the leveling system, which I just don't think is a good thing. And guys, if you've ever been diagnosed with autism and you have a level, don't tell people it. That's my one advice. Don't tell people what level you are unless you feel like it's an important bit of information, because Jesus Christ, I've been diagnosed since Monday. We've always known I've had autism, but like, I've been diagnosed since Monday. I have received a lot of ableism. Like, a lot. I wish I was joking. I'm laughing because I've genuinely cried over it. It's horrible. You gotta learn to like take it like tongue in cheek sometimes, but man, when you've got autism, you know that's hard, and it's like, it's just like not the nicest thing, and you have people that you're like, it's just, oh, don't tell the people in your life that had told you leading up to this diagnosis that you weren't autistic what level you are, because they will use that as an excuse to deem you not autistic. It's so shit. I wish it was giving. Genuinely, like, and I want to say this lightly because I do consider this person a friend of some sort. Would I be friends with them in any other social situation? Probably not. But like, circumstantial friendship is a thing, and that's just where I'm at with them. I do enjoy their company when they're a nice person. Do I support half of the shit they say? No. And do they know that? Yes. I have made it very clear that I don't appreciate how they talk about certain subjects. They know my stance on it. They do say things to upset me intentionally, and they know they do it. But whatever, we're moving on. Don't judge me. But this person, literally, I got diagnosed, right? I come into work the next day because I went to work the next day. They literally came up to me and they're like, "Oh, how did it go?" Because, you know, they're my friend. They came up, they're like, "How did it go?" And I was like, "Yep, I got autism." I was like, they diagnosed me with autism, level 1. And then later on in the shift, this person then went, another coworker asked me, like, "Oh, Jasper, did you get the tism?" Did you get the tism? And I was like, "Yes, I got the tism." And then this so-called friend then turned around and went, "Yeah, only..." I said I got the tism level 1, and then this friend piped up and said, "So the lowest level." It's like, dude, that's not how this works, right? I want to stress this. And if you do any research on autism leveling, you'll understand this as well. Autism is a spectrum. The leveling system is just how they diagnose people. Realistically, under any other categorization, I'm considered autistic, which means I am now classed legally in the UK. I don't know if it's the same everywhere else, but in the UK, legally, I am now classed as disabled. I know as well, I have GAD, which is generalized anxiety disorder, and depression. That combination would also imply that I'm disabled, but it's a bit iffy about the legalities of that. But autism is considered a protected characteristic. I don't know the wording of it, but it's basically like I am considered autistic by the UK government, essentially. So it doesn't fucking matter what level I am, okay? I am not like, and by the way, disabled can mean a number of things, and I don't want to like sit here and like discuss the like difference, because I also want to be careful about ableism as well, and because I'm just learning stuff, right? I'm still like making my way in self-discovery, shall we say. And yeah, it's been a lot. And I want to stress that despite the fact that this is someone that I'm friendly with, they are not the first. Well, they were the first person, but they're not the only person who kind of done said ableist shit to me in the last 2 days. I've had it all. I I'm actually like honestly like a bit shell shocked about it, because a lot of the time I thought like, oh, people are just gonna say stuff, and I'm like, I can't just suddenly become offended over things. But it's like people seem to be going out their way to try and upset me now that I've got a diagnosis, and it's like, wait, and I have to really sit and go, am I getting upset over this because um I now know for sure, and I know they know for sure, and so they're just being ableist for the hell of it? Or am I being offended because this is, actually a problem? I don't know if that makes any sense. It's just genuinely like not the nicest thing to experience. I wouldn't have gone through all this to label myself as disabled if I had any other choice other than I'd hit a brick wall, essentially, and I wasn't getting any better, and I couldn't help myself, and no one could help me because there was we just didn't know what was wrong, essentially. Like, you can only kind of go so far as to putting things down as anxiety disorder before you kind of have to sit and go, okay, but anxiety disorder doesn't really explain why um like I don't have any inkling to go to the bathroom or get a drink and stuff like that, right? Saying that, Net will now redeem Drink Dummy. I bet you any money. Um, but but basically, what ended up happening is just like, I don't know what I was saying. I forgot. God damn it! It's just been a bit of a like self-discovery moment. Um, But yeah, by the UK government, I am now classed as disabled, which I know some people don't like the terminology of calling autistic people disabled. Realistically, I am just using the wording that I've been provided through my psychiatrist and through resources that I now have access to, because Jesus Christ, guys, I still count self-diagnosis as long as you've done the proper research, and I don't mean like a 5-minute Google search. I mean like you've actually like really looked into it and gone into like different like just like do the research, right? If you consider yourself autistic after that, by all means. I'm not here to like say if anyone's got autism or ADHD, for example. Like, if you've done the proper research, because realistically, getting diagnosed is long, it's expensive, and it's stressful. And I can tell you that because I've done it. And I'm fortunate in the fact that I live in the UK where healthcare is free. And we recently had a legislation put in place to mean that the waiting list for autism and ADHD testing is now cut down significantly for adults. I don't know if it is for children. Which means that, I was able to access this. I applied it at applied 9 months. It took 9 months in total, which is actually a bit longer than it should have taken under this anyway. But that's because my medical center fucked up. But we won't go into that because I've talked about it so many times. But yeah, so basically what's hugs, thank you, Mika. So basically what's ended up happening is I am now legally considered disabled, which is like, it doesn't sound like a good thing when you say it. But it is a good thing because it means that I am now able to get the support I need in my life. So I will now have access to certain therapies, to certain assessments, to certain help. It also means that I can get access to things like disability cards. I can get a blue badge now, even though, ironically, right? You want to know the shittest part about all this? I can get a blue badge. If you don't know what a blue badge is, a blue badge is basically it's literally a little like booklet that the DVLA, which is the UK driving like legal side of it. I don't know it, but like a blue badge is basically like a piece of documentation that you put in the front of your car that allows you to park in disabled parking spaces. That's literally all it is. So if you ever hear the term blue badge in the UK, that's what that means. But the blue badge, basically, I have access to that. The shittest part about all this, I have torticollis, right? I can't turn my neck one way, right? I can turn it, just not very far, which makes driving really hard. But the DVLA said I couldn't have a blue badge because I got torticollis, right? But because I've now been diagnosed with autism and also have GAD. I could get the blue badge for GAD and autism, but I can't get it because of a physical defect. It's like so shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, it's fine because I don't drive anyway, so I don't really need a blue badge. I will be getting one anyway because, you know, you may as well make the use of these things where you have them, and it'll mean, you know, it'll mean getting access to things in the future is a lot easier because most places that do like disabled care is like, or what is it called, special accommodations, that's on, need you to provide a blue badge, so, or something similar. So there's that. So I will probably be getting one for just that sake of having some physical documentation. I'm disabled without saying why or how, you know, because as discovered, people are ableist and it's none of their damn business. I just want to I just want to talk about all this. Like, I'm so sorry if I'm word vomiting to people. But yeah, so basically with the diagnosis process, let's go back to that because my conversation is all over the place. With the diagnosis process, the assessment was an hour long. It was basically just reiterating what I had already filled out in several different documents that they asked me to provide. Didn't understand the point of it until afterwards when I realized that they didn't care about what I said. They were just trying to see how I spoke and how I acted visually on the camera while I was speaking and stuff, where I was looking, where I was like, how much I was fidgeting, which I think now that the tracking is a lot more violent, you'll probably see me swaying for more than used to, but basically, like, it was just an assessment on the visual side of it, because you can fill out loads of documentation that says basically that you're autistic just on paper, but like when it comes to the actual like signs of autism, a big part of it is obviously no eye contact. I have no eye contact. I don't look at my face at all. Visuals, like obvious visual stimming. So like for me, I do a lot of different stimming, and everyone stims, by the way. So if you're like, well, I also flap my hands, but I don't think I have autism. That's fine. What makes it autism or autistic is the amount you do it. So I do it quite frequently. Like, oftentimes on stream I'm like fiddling with something, so it's not something I do very often, but I'm constantly squeezing my toes. I don't know why. I remember I used to like stim a lot more openly. Like I used to flap my hands quite violently to the point it would cause me wrist pain, which is fantastic. And I was trying to find, like, because you can train yourself to stim in other ways, and I was trying to find, like, experimenting with make myself better stimming wise a long time ago, and I started squeezing my toes and it felt a lot better. So that's how I trained myself to do that. I still flap obviously, but like I'm learning to do that again now, if that's thing. Dude, I flap my hands also. Dude, hey, like, I'm not saying like it's not necessary. It might be an autistic thing. It might not. It's up to you to decide how well that fits in with other things, because autism is a lot of different things combined into one. which is why it often gets misdiagnosed with a lot of different things in someone's life, especially if you're one female. It is fantastic. You get, when you're born female, they don't like, it's only recently they've started like understanding the female at birth side of autism, because for some reason people who are born female at birth present differently. I think because our societal expectations are different to people who are born male at birth. But that being said, it's also just something that, like, that's not to say that there aren't like people who were born male at birth that present like but with female birth, if that makes sense. Like, I know people that present the same as me who I know who are autistic, but they're men, you know, or were born male. It's a thing. It's like, but it's just something that for some reason is, it's just like people's ableism is ridiculous. Like that person I was talking about earlier who like was like saying about like, well, she's only the lowest level. That the reason this person is like so harsh on me about it is because they know like someone quite close to them who's autistic, and it's their friend's son who's nonverbal and likes lorries and doesn't really like do anything else, right? Very obviously autistic, has been diagnosed, right? But then I'm over here like coming into this and I'm a lower level. So to them I'm like not autistic enough, and it's just like a whole thing. It's been a bit of a wild one because the person's really in the pocket of my boss and trying to get my boss station workplace uphill battle long before I got a diagnosis, which is a lot of the why I got a diagnosis. And now I've got a diagnosis, they're really digging their heels in. And you know what? I've had enough. Guys, I'm unionizing. I'm gonna join a union. I'm not joking. That's a serious statement. I've had enough. I've basically, like, I've turned around to my boss and I've gone, right, I now have the paperwork. This means you have to do a thing called reasonable adjustments. If I request something, you're allowed to deny it. They are allowed to deny it, but they have to give me a valid reason as to why they're denying it. Usually, like, facilitating things aren't doable, they can't get the funding for it, like, the various things like that. They have to actually give me a reason. My main thing is that they keep doing a thing which I know comes under a term in an office called hot desking. If you know what that is, you'll know what I'm on about, but hot desking is basically like where you work in an office and they move you around constantly, right? And you're expected to not be sat at the same desk every single day, right? That's my understanding of it. I don't know. I've never worked in an office. But that's basically that. If I worked in an office and I I I am autistic, right? And I worked in an office. If there was hot desking, I could request to have a stationary desk, and there is actually no legitimate reason why they could deny that. So they would have to facilitate that, right? In my working environment, I work in warehousing. There are different positions in my warehousing. I am one of 3 members of staff, right? There's 3 of us that get moved around. I don't know why they decided that was a good idea. I have fought it the entire time, constantly. It's caused a lot of issues. I've had to take lots of mental health time off because of this, and they still won't fucking listen. So, basically, I'm basically in my warehouse doing hot desking, but in a warehouse sense, and not actually like literally, like desking. Like I'm just moving around constantly, right? Best example I can give. So I've gone in and gone, right, I'm not coping with you guys moving me around as much. Can you please make me more stationary in the warehouse and put one position where I'm at most of the time? Most of the time. I'm not saying permanently because I think that's unreasonable, but I'm like, can you like at least try and keep me there for at least 2 weeks at a time? Please don't move me from that position. And if you do move me, you return me to that position, right? Sounds simple enough. They've said no. And I don't think they understand that despite that, I have GAD, right? And depression. they have to facilitate for those as well because they are also considered disabilities, but it's a bit of a just topic. So I turned around and I was like, well, it's more likely the anxiety, but also I think I have autism or I think I'm autistic and I I'm not coping with change. I have transition phase issues. So, like, part of the problem is that I can't transition tasks very well. Even in my, like, home life, it's like if I start doing one thing, I kind of need to finish it, or it causes issues, or sometimes happen is like, um, like, I don't know, examples. Basically, it's like, it's sort of hard to do more than once, right? Or at least change something. So this is why I get set in routines and stuff, and I have transition phase issues. So moving me about constantly is not healthy. Where was I going with this? And so I turned around and I was like, well, it might be the anxiety, but it's likely the suspected autism, right? They turned around and basically said, well, we don't know. So you either need to get a diagnosis or like we need to maybe take this further. So what did I do? I got a fucking diagnosis. Come in with a diagnosis. I've gone to my boss and I'm like, right, there's a thing called reasonable adjustments you have to make. There's like, and it's not something that's signed off by a doctor. I just have to write up a document that says, here's what I would benefit from, right? And I have to hand it to them and ask for them to facilitate these. This is legally protected, right? So this comes under the Equality Act of 2010, which states that reasonable adjustments have to be made. There's like a great website about it, like the National Society website has a lot of good information on adjustments. And by the way, that's not like, I'm not just using that phrase, that's literally what it's called, adjustment. Um, so I would request that, and they would have to facilitate. They are still dragging their heels about it, and I can't seem to get it through to them that, despite the fact that this isn't like a document that gets signed off by a doctor, it's still legally binding. They still have to be doing something. They just don't want to. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I am getting so frustrated by it. It's genuinely like the end of my fucking world. It's just like, I'm like, how many more fucking hoops do I have to fucking jump through to get you guys to acknowledge the fact that your system doesn't work for anyone, but it especially doesn't work for me because I'm autistic and I cannot cope with moving about in my own home, let alone in a warehouse setting where it's busy, noisy, and bright. I can't. I'm not coping. Anyway. What the union that thing? Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I'm having to go to the union. I've talked to my coworkers and they're like, the best recommendation we can give is like, you need to be nice about it. However, I think HR might have a few things to say about my autism. And if I say to them like, "Hi, I'm struggling in the workplace because I keep getting moved around, and the majority of my other coworkers have permanent positions, including Paul. Might I add, Paul's a cunt. He's in the house, by the way. I don't mean that. I love him very dearly, but he's a little shit when it comes to this, right? He's so lucky, right? He has one position in that warehouse thing, because we work together, by the way. He has one position in the warehouse that he's in every single day, right? He knows exactly what he's got to do every single day. He comes in, does that thing, goes home, right? Every single day. They never move him. He's never moved. The only one that can do it realistically, but like, they don't move him. They sometimes get someone to help him, but they're not like, it's, if no one else is there, it's always him, right? He's not the only one in there that has this, right? There's like, it's a staff team of like not very many people, but the majority of people have one position in that warehouse, right? I do not. I don't know what my stationary place is. I don't know what my home base is, right? I get asked about it at work all the time, and I'm like, I don't know how to respond. And it's just not healthy. And the amount of times I've got people coming up to me and being like, are you okay? Yesterday, it's like, well, I think you would be too. Like, it's frustrating because I'm just trying to get help. I got help. I got help. I got help. They just don't want to acknowledge that I got help. It's just a whole thing. So from now on in, another thing I'd like to add, I'm gonna be a bit self-deprecating here, but like realistically, like I have made these requests, but I have only made them verbally. The only request that I've made that wasn't verbal, that I did actually do in a write-up, that they did have to be seen to be following through, was asking about wearing earplugs in the warehouse because I couldn't cope with the sound. My boss seems to think that we have to get a decibel counter in to approve me, and if they say it's too low, then I won't be allowed to wear them. And I'm like, that's not how this works. This is the thing. I know this is new territory to them, but it's like genuinely like the amount of just like not acknowledging that this isn't something that I'm just have. You know? It just seems like, I don't know, I'm getting treated like I've just gone out and got a bit of paper just so I can turn around and be like, okay, do something. And it's like, no, that's not what's happened. I just don't want to like, I don't want to like say that this isn't something that would have happened eventually. This would have always been the result. It was just a matter of time before something happened and it just all kind of came to a head and it was too late. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time for a diagnosis, right? It was always going to end up going this way. And I just want to say, like, if you can go throughout your life without getting a diagnosis, good for you, because it's not fun once you do get diagnosed. It's a lot of relief for you, and it's a lot of relief for your family as well if you're in that environment. But it's like it's a lot of relief to finally have answers to why you feel certain ways, why certain things matter more to you than others, and it's easier to explain to people. Like if something I've always struggled with is that I have like the desire to connect with people, but I just don't know how. I upset people sometimes with what I say. And some people have learned that, like, I'm not trying to say it to be nasty, it's just how I speak, which feels really bad. But, like, it's like there's a lot of layers to this, and, like, the strong sense of justice comes forth with it. The amount of times I've got into, like, genuine fights about trans issues, which, you know, I'm fighting the battle over here, not just for you, but just because I can't let things lie. It's like genuinely like it's such a like problem. I will cause fights, and this person I was talking about at the beginning, literally, I've had so many fights with them about trans issues, and I'm like, you need to shut your fucking mouth. I will quite literally like it's the one thing I can't bite my tongue about. Which to many people would be like, "Oh, that's a good thing." It's not. It's not. It's a good thing because like you want people to be defensive, but I will get into fights over it. And I don't have any qualms about it. People should have rights, equal rights, equal fights. But at the same time, like genuinely, I will not settle if someone thinks that I can't. It's so annoying. I really need to anger. But I'm like, this has been a like long term issue, and there was like an incident several years ago where we had to kind of sit down and go, okay, would it be time to get a diagnosis now? But this was back before the legislation had come into place, so realistically, I was looking at least a minimum of 3 to 7 years waiting back then. And then the following year, when it all kind of came to a head and I had a breakdown and had to go off from work, right? When that happened, that was when the legislation came into place. And by that point, I requested it through my GP to go on the NHS waiting list. And they said, we don't recommend it because it's a 10-year waiting list, which meant it had like, fuck, it gone up so much. And this is like a UK issue. I dread to think what it's like elsewhere, but like, it's not something that I would have gone through willingly had I not needed it. So the fact that my work is just not really like acknowledging it is just a thing. My boss, my overhead management is taking it very seriously. I'd like to point out that there is someone fighting in my corner. I'm just very aware of the fact that if I turn around and hand them a piece of documentation that says, here's the reasonable adjustments I personally need, because my psychotherapist has supplied me with recommendations for adjustments, but I found that a lot of them don't really apply to my situation. Some of them do. Some of them are really not going to be fun. But I turned around to my boss and I said, like, I'm going to write up something that says what I would benefit from personally. And he's like, so would that get signed off or something? And I was like, well, no, it's not really like a legally binding document, but I'm considered disabled now, which means I'm able to access reasonable adjustments have to be true, because you can make reasonable adjustments without a diagnosis. They have to, like, workplaces, at least in England, they have to facilitate needs to some extent anyway to the general, like, neurotypical, right? But when you're disabled, it's discriminatory to not at least try to make those adjustments. That's the difference. And then, so for him to turn around and be like, well, is it legally binding? I was like, I mean, technically, yeah. And he's like, well, what's the technicality? And I was like, well, it's not signed off by anyone. Oh, well, then, I don't know how much the company will, like, take notice of that. I'm like, are you kidding? I was like, we've discussed this so many times already, my dude. Like, genuinely, like, I'm like, this is not how this works. How much more legal do you want me to get than the 2010 Equality Act? How much more legitimate? It's the same act, right? If you're confused, it's the same act, right? The one that says that I am not liable. What's the word? I'm eligible for reasonable adjustments. The same act is the same act that says that you are not allowed to discriminate against people for their race, color, disability, or marriage status, right? It's the same act that says that you're not allowed to treat people differently in a workspace, right? For any reason. Vanilla Night, redeem drink. Thank you, Vanilla Night. I will drink to the. Well, I'm on a fucking rant. Anyway, it's the same. It's the same act as that. So for them to turn around and be like, it's like, no. I'll see you in court. Stay up, like, right, if I have to take this any further, this is getting ridiculous now. I'm like, how many more? I've jumped through all their fucking hoops, and they're trying to set up more hoops, because they're running out of hoops, right? And I've turned around and I've gone, okay, I've had enough now. I'm not doing this anymore. It's either you do this, or I go to HR. And I'm not just going to go to HR. I'm going to get the union to go to HR on my behalf. It's not going to end well for them. They're not going to get a choice about this. They have turned around and said they've turned around and said if HR say it, then we have to do it. And I'm like, cool, but the Equality Act says it, and they have to follow that. So realistically, not going to work out. Not going to work out. Not going to work out. It sounds big. I'm going to war, guys. I genuinely feel like it's like a whole thing. I'm just I'm passionate about it. It's genuinely been on my mind for the last few days. So excuse me if I've been really distracted recently. It's genuinely like causing issues. Anyway, moving on from the subject of work for now. No doubt I'll go back to it because let's face it, we know what I'm like. Anyway, talking more about the actual process of getting diagnosed. It was great. I went in, I got a hour-long appointment, and by the 50-minute mark, they were like, do you have anything else to add? And I went, yeah, I found your questionnaire really unhelpful, and I don't really understand how I'm supposed to, like, judge, like, the percentage of my day that special interests take up, because I don't have anything to compare that to. Am I counting what time it takes to eat and sleep? I don't know. And they're like, that is helpful, thank you. And I was like, okay. They then were like, okay, Jasper, you can take a break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. And they left me in this call. It was a Zoom call, right? Well, it was a Teams call, but like, they're like, okay, we'll be back. You can take a break. I just sat there. I just sat there. Straight up just sat there like, well, now what? Like, I genuinely didn't know what to do with myself. I sat there just like, for 10 minutes, not really knowing what to do. I was busting for a wee, right? Because at this point, like, I'd sat down, probably needing a wee, and then had sat there for an hour. So at this point, I was like, oh, fuck. If I don't go now, I might not get the chance. I was fine. I made it. But, Jesus Christ. So, like, I'm just sat there, and they come back after 10 minutes. I was, like, freaking out, texting stuff, and I was like, fuck this up. They come back. And they're like, all right, Jasper. Sorry, I just got really distracted. They're like, all right, Jasper. We're pleased to say that you do meet the criteria for spectrum. So that was the end of that. I burst into tears. Guys, I burst into tears. I'd already started crying in this call, by the way, because about halfway through, they're like, are you coping with, like, our faces on the screen? Because they had their cameras on. You can request to have them turned off. I just didn't because I was too shy. And, I was like, no, it's fine. I mean, if you want to, it's okay. They're like, well, would you benefit from it? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. Let's try it. And they did, and then I opened up completely, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I do need to not have visuals on my screen. Felt a bit pathetic after that. I was so embarrassed. I just started crying. It was terrible. Another thing was that I say sorry a lot in general conversation. It's a sentence filler. I do mean it when I say it. It's just like, but I am apologizing for my existence, not for anything in particular more than anything, right? And they brought it up. They're like, you keep apologizing. Is that something you do often? I was like, yeah. So, I guess that helped my case. Anyway, so they came back after 10 minutes, told me that I met the criteria. I burst into tears. And then the psychiatrist said a lot of different, like, words at me, telling me about the different bits of paper that I will receive over the next few months. What will happen from a GP's perspective and stuff. And it all went in one ear out the other. I cannot tell you what a single thing they told me. I'm pretty sure she also said that I would receive my diagnostic certificate, or the bit of paper that says that I have autism. I'll receive that after 6 months. And then it said on the website that I should receive it after 6 weeks, so I don't know when I'll receive it, but apparently I'll receive it at some point. My GP surgery, by the way, hasn't even got, like, any of the paperwork sent to them yet. I checked this morning. They don't have anything, so I haven't even been discharged from the service yet. It's a whole thing. I know this is, like, kind of soon. This only happened, for anyone that's just joined us, this only happened on Monday. So it's pretty, like, fresh, but so far so good. I've received acknowledgements. I've received advice. So I've received, like, different bits of paper and stuff I can bits of paper that I can go and research and stuff, books and stuff. I've got recommendations of websites. And I've also received 2 bits of formal documentation, which is the recommended reasonable adjustment that they send out for everyone. I think this is a bog standard bit of paper. I don't think this is based on my diagnosis at all. Because reading it, I didn't find that it actually was personalized at all. So that was that. But I received that for both education and work. And I've sent it to my workplace along with a website on reasonable. My boss, like, I need you to read this. Don't acknowledge that we won't get a choice, then we're gonna have a problem. I don't think they read it, but never mind. So I've had that bit of documentation. I don't think I've had anything else. I haven't checked today. I should maybe check. I will do that in the background while I'm talking, but which means that I won't do it at all because I get so distracted trying to look these things up. But basically, they've given me all this kind of stuff. I will receive other stuff, but it kind of goes back into the hands of my GP to organise further assessments. So bog standard, I've been assessed, I've been diagnosed, I've got that bit of paper now, right? Well, not literally because they haven't sent it to me yet, but I've got the diagnosis. So as far as anything is concerned, nothing changes anymore. I have autism spectrum disorder. That's the end of that conversation, right? What now happens is that they will probably, I understood from what little information I got, there will be an organised assessment at some point through to assess my needs as an autistic person, which, as far as I'm aware, I think is assessing me for how much, like, long-term care I'll need, because ability, I need care, I need assistance, doesn't. This is what I mean by the leveling system doesn't matter. Autism, right? It's a spectrum. Everyone's different. They don't really like. Some people on level 1 don't need assistance. Some people do. So what's going to happen now is that they're going to assess how much I need in terms of like help and care. Because realistically, and I don't know how well this will go, because realistically, I do need care. Paul's become my essential carer. He's the one who has to take me to Tesco. I can't do it on my own anymore. That skill has gone. I also can't do washing on my own. That skill's gone. This is something that's kind of ended up happening. And I was explaining this to my overhead management when I told them I got diagnosed. They're like, I was like, skill regression happened. They're like, what's skill regression? I was like, oh my god, you really haven't looked into it. And I was like, and this is why I'm having to go through this, because I don't have skills anymore. Like, I will lose skills very easily, right? And I was explaining, like, I can't take things out the wash. That's the basic example I give people. There are other things I could talk about. But like, also another thing is like going to Tesco. I can't do that on my own anymore. I can't really go anywhere on my own anymore. I've tried. It doesn't really end well. So yeah, so basically, I think what will happen is I'll be assessed at some point for that. I don't know how it works. Please let me know if anyone's been through Psychiatry UK and knows. Trying to look at. Hey guys, it's so annoying. What do you mean your connection was interrupted? Better fucking not be. Remind me later. I gotta complete my feedback. It keeps notifying me every time I go in there. Yeah, I haven't had any updates. The last updates I've had is adjustments. Oh, and Tesco, your prescription is now ready for collection. Excellent. Okay, great. Right. Yeah, diagnosis ASD level 1. Oh, I also received a advice letter. They sent me like a bit of documentation that basically was like a list of advice on what I can expect now that I've been diagnosed. Like things on like who to reach out to, who to like ask, what to ask for and stuff. So that's like been really good. Has anything changed? I suppose that's something I should talk about. Has anything changed? Not really. I hope I'm not boring. I'm really sorry if I am, but like, um, has anything changed? Realistically, nothing's changed. It's not really. I think I thought something would change. I don't feel any different because we knew that I had it long ago anyway. As in, like, we've known pretty much my entire life, but it just recently I've been able to out a diagnosis. The problem is managing it, and this can go for a lot of things. So one of the things is that I will now be now access to badge. I will be access like a ability card. I will also in at the weekend probably. I'll probably seek out getting another. I've got one already, but I need a new sunflower lanyard. Because I have a sunflower lanyard, and I don't know if this is a thing in other countries, but in the UK it's a thing. Sunflower lanyard is acknowledgement of ability. Most places are trained to recognize the sunflower as a indication of a thought. So most places will have someone who recognize that and be able to help you. The problem is that the hidden disability sunflower lanyard got abused massively during the COVID pandemic, because during that time people were using it as because you don't have to submit anything for it. You can just apply for it, put in your information and pay for it. Like there's no like checklisting, there's no authorization, right? Put whatever you like on it. You don't have to like, and it's something you can just buy on Amazon. You don't even have to do it through the website. The website doesn't require you to. But with that, what's happened during COVID, people wear it and not have to wear a mask, which for people like me was really interesting when we did get it. I went to Edinburgh during this time, and this was quite a while after the pandemic, but people were still masking. I went to Edinburgh because and I was wearing this lanyard, and we were going to the local Weatherspoons, and the security guard stopped me. Like, he was checking my ID, and I was like fumbling around trying to get it, and he was like, "Why are you wearing a mask if you've got the sunflower lanyard?" And I had to explain to him that that's not what they're for. And it was just a bit of a sad one, because it was like I know a lot of people with the sunflower lanyard and hidden disability had this issue back then, which is why we now have the disability card. You can apply for it, but you have to provide documentation for a disability. And you can get one with visible disability, and you can get one with. However, it's not as recognized as the sunflower lanyard, which name, because it got a bad rap. It's very useful, but I think that it ended up just. It's not really a problem now because no one wears masks anymore, or at least no one. No one have respiratory problems. It's not something that we're required to wear anymore. If that makes sense. So, sunflower lanyard will now be hopefully more recognized as something to. So I have a lanyard, and I also have a card on the lanyard, but the card states that I have anxiety. I have DA. That hasn't got away with the autism, but it's like, it does explain a lot about why it's so bad for me and why certain anxiety sort of treatments don't really work on me. But the thing is, I need to get it updated anyway, because for one, the photo on it's really old. I mean, I still look like that, but it just like not really like, it's not really like accurate. It also is information on it is going off the autism, the anxiety side of things, and not the autism side of things. I don't know. I need. Oh, sorry. My tracking always goes really weird. It's just like terrible. Don't make memes out of that. So I've got a card right now. Right now, Paul's fucking keys are attached to it. Don't ask me why. Yeah, so I've got a lanyard with sunflowers on it. I also have the card. It's just the bog standard one that just says hidden disabilities. It doesn't have I have anxiety on the front. I'm not sure why. I think because back then you couldn't personalize ones with statements on the front, and now you can. I don't remember. Anyway, so you can customize it. I have anxiety. I can get disorientated easily. Please do not grab me or rush me. Please just stay with me. That was what I put on mine. You had limited space. I also put my mum's contact details. And that's another thing, is that there's no point putting my mum's contact details, because realistically I'm unlikely to be anywhere without Paul now, so it would make more sense to contact details on there. So I'll get an update for that. And also because you have to select like 5 different symbols to put on the cards. And I mean, they all apply still, but there are specific ones for all now. So I probably be getting. God, I probably won't share it online just because it does have sensitive details on it. But I mean, if anyone wants to see it, I might see if I can like just blur out the like sensitive stuff. If anyone's interested, I'll send. But you can look it up. It's if it's available. But like a lot of places do acknowledge it, especially if you're like traveling. If you're ever coming to the UK and you do have a disability hidden otherwise, and you help, you can get. I do think it is available in other countries. I don't think it's just a UK thing. Every time I go on the website, they ask me to select my country. Anyway, I like it. I also find it really sad that some people are like, I don't like the colouring on it. I'm like, I love the colouring on it. The colouring's green. It's green with the like sunflowers on it. It's great. I love it. I love it. The problem is the reason I don't wear it is because I cannot cope sensory wise with something around my neck that's heavy. Unfortunately, lanyards tend to be the thing that they advise. If anyone's got any advice, please, 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 anyone who also has uh autism or sensory things, or even if it's self-diagnosed and you carry around sensory equipment like fidgets and stuff on, an alternative to lanyards, if you've got an alternative, please let me know, because I am genuinely like at a bit of a loss about what to do. Because I mean, if I'm going somewhere, like a lanyard would be prevalent. Like if I was going to the airport or something, or if I was going to like a theme park or something, I would be wearing the lanyard regardless. But in general, like just going to the shops and stuff, I need like an alternative or something, because this is uncomfortable. It's not comfortable to wear. It's terrible. I wonder if they changed it. It's all melted. It's horrible. I just need one that's not as scratchy, because sensory wise, this is genuinely terrible. But like something that's designed for like people with like sensory issues to wear, it's the worst thing I've ever. It's genuine. Like now I'm actually looking at it. I'm like, yeah, no wonder I didn't want to fucking wear it. This thing is like, it's literally like, if you don't understand, autism, one of the main issues that we have is like sensory things, which is why you often hear about like tags in clothing annoy people with autism, right? Um, and I'm one of those people that can't cope with tags in my clothing. Sometimes I can, and I find that clothing brands are becoming a lot more flexible with how they put um, tags or information on their clothing. I love it when companies print them on the clothing. That's great. Please do that. If you're inventing a clothing brand, please do that. Don't do the scratchy like tags. I used to just suffer through it, and then I got diagnosed the other day, and now I've just started tearing them out of clothes I don't like. It's like genuinely like, it's just like I've just started taking them out. It's great. It's not such a problem in most clothing. Like for t-shirts and stuff, it's horrible. For pajamas, it's horrible. But like for trousers and stuff, I'm not really too phased by it, because I wear high-waisted. I hope this is TMI, but I wear high-waisted underwear, so I just find it doesn't really rub on it. Right? And if it does, it's on my back and not my butt, which is great. Anyway, um, basically, so with the sensory side of things, it's like, well, I've started tearing them out of clothing now. I don't feel like I need to like put on that mask anymore. I don't know why I thought I had to in the first place, but whatever. Anyway, so the sunflower lanyard, like, it's great and all, but like, Jesus Christ, I hope they've updated the like way they've stitched the clasp on, because it's awful. But I think that's why they've got like now a 3-way break one, because that one, like, the actual threading is on the back. I don't know. It's just not really. I need to see if there's like an alternative to the lanyard that's like a lanyard. You know, I just need it to not go around my neck. I hate it. But if anyone's got any advice on wearing like lanyards and making them comfortable, like please let me know, because I'm genuinely at a loss. You know, realistically, like it's not really for like, it's more for wearing in like, I'll wear it personally just in going to the shops and stuff, and like going to like attractions or events, like places that like if I have a meltdown and I'm on my own, like it's got advice on how to help me, right? Um so that's what I'll wear it for. But for work, I'm probably just gonna get a card, because my high vis, because I work in housing, my high vis has like a card pocket that's supposed to be for our ID cards, but realistically, unless you smoke, you don't wear them. Um, so for me, who the fuck is texting me time of day? So for me, it's like I just need I don't know. It's something I gotta look into, I suppose. Wait. I'll talk for a bit more. Sorry. I hope that people are actually like enjoying this. I'm struggling. What else do I talk about? Kind of just ended up talking about like the fact that I've already experienced ableism and like the issues I'm having since getting diagnosed. Sorry. Hey, listen, you don't come to a Jasper stream expecting good fucking news, do you? I mean, it's been good. I'm sure that I'll have more positive things to talk about with it eventually. Once I get like the diagnostic report, because they've got to write up an 8 to 10 page long diagnostic report on my autism, right? Once I get that report back, I'll probably eventually I plan to make sort of a video. It'll be stream talking about the kind of details of my autism struggle with. Probably, you know what? If I do it, it probably won't be a stream. Just because what ends up happening is that when I'm like talking stream, it's a lot easier to just like a person. But I do word vomit a lot. If I do a video, it's more planned out. I just hate editing those kind of videos. I suppose. But yeah, it's just getting a load of stuff like that sort. I bought something since getting diagnosed. I was like going on like Etsy and Amazon. Probably benefit if I did get diagnosed, and I've sort of started compiling them. I've got like some vendors I'm get got Prime and I don't. But I've got like I've got things that I've been like compiling to sort of get to better in future, and I have not bought any of it. um, but one thing I did get was that there was like a brooch, or like a pin badge that got recommended to me on Etsy that said autistic and anxious. And it was a like white hair. It was like on a white hair. I don't know how to explain it. It's like autistic and anxious, and it's got a white hair on it. I'll see if I can get the photo. Net redeem drink. Don't make Is that just because I cough? um, but yeah. So one of the things I bought was this bed. I'll see if I can send it. But it's got like it's for like an animal charity, but it's great and I love it and I'm so like thrilled. Like I haven't got it yet, but I'm excited for it. I did buy like some fidget toys leading up to getting diagnosis. So I got the fidget worms, and I'm pretty sure I said last time I streamed that I would share the images of them, and then I didn't. So apologies for that. If I remember, I'll try and do it later. I'm so sorry. Guys, I've got like VODs that I've not uploaded, and I'm stressed because I know that I'm not gonna have time after the stream, and I'm like stressing about it massively. Whatever. But I got these worm toys. They're great, but you can only do so much with them. So then I got a Tangle, and oh my god, I can see why this is everyone's. Every neurodiverse person ever in the world has always said that the best fidget toy is a Tangle, right? And they don't really like. I was like, well, it can't be that good. I've got it. It's great. I love it. I spent hours playing with it. It's amazing. I'm not sponsored or anything. God, I wish. But like, I genuinely like. I've got the metallic green new one because for some reason I can't find them in adult sizes. But I don't really need it in adult sizes. This is great. It's enough to like play with anymore. But like I'm playing with it right now. It's fantastic. I'm so thrilled with it. It was worth the £8 I spent on it. They are expensive, but well, right. It's depends. Expensive is subjective. For me, this is expensive, but especially when you consider the fact that the two I got a double pack of fidget worms for like £5, and then this tangle it's like £8. Oh, thrilled about that one. But I got it in emerald green in the metallic shade. It's not really holding up great already. Like it's chipping slightly already, but I think that's just because I use it so much. I will probably get another one just because I tend to just anyway, so it would be better just to get another one like fidget with like the like loose paint work. Oh my god, I'm looking at it now and I'm like, oh man, I really beat this thing up. It's because I have long nails. Like when you got long nails, you're like chipping stuff constantly. Anyway, so I got a tangle. It's great. I'm like thrilled with it. I will probably get a different tangle at some point. I'm gonna look into getting the ones that have got like grip bits on because I'm really curious to see if I would enjoy one of those. But I will probably also get like another green because if you didn't know, my favorite color is green. My favorite color is green. My favorite color, my entire personality is black, green, and gold. My household is entirely black, green, and gold. God damn it! Oh man. But yeah, so all good. All good. It's good. It's good times. So I've got one of those. If you're looking for fidget recommendations, I 10 out of 10 recommend these, especially if you're someone like me that cope well with the fidgets. For me, right, I'm really fussy about fidgets. I will use fidgets, right? I'll use the clicky ones. I will not touch the squishy ones. I haven't got like I mean, I'm not against trying the like I think Edos, the plasticky ones that kind of squish. I don't really like the memory foam stuff. I don't really like squishy ones. It's I think just I just find them a bit dull than anything, and also I think I'm afraid of breaking them. And I also don't like the like rubbery stuff. Just sensory wise, I just don't enjoy the texture. So I don't have any of those, and I will probably not get any of those ever. But another thing I found that I really don't like as well is or tree fidgets. I think that's just because I tend to use fidgets more when I'm doing things like streaming or talking, right? The problem is when you're needing to fidget with something that makes a lot of sound, it's really distracting. So, like, the tangle isn't great because it does make this weird, like, I don't know if you can hear it. No, it won't pick it up on the mic, but it's like a weird, like, plastic scraping noise. It's fine, but like it's not like the best. I don't know if that's just the one I've got or if different like types of them make different. But that's great. Anyway, so if you want a recommendation on it, I like tangles. They're great. They're endless hours of fun. And they're so simple. It's just a bit of plastic. But yeah, so I like that. I also made a fidget that I was obsessed with, but I broke it, so that's waiting to be fixed. But I used to make a lot of like candy. If you don't know what that is, it's not sweets, right? I'm not saying the American word. Candy is with a K. It's not a C, it's a K. Candy is like jewelry that you make with pony beads and you give away at festivals. You see it a lot in scene culture and stuff, where I've got them from. But I used to make a lot of candy, and one of the things I made was a rotating carousel puff, which is look it up. I don't really know how to explain, but it basically looks like a carousel, and it's got like a band in the middle, and it reminds me a lot of a. I found out the name of it. I can't remember what it. Man, how did you get? How did a fidget spinner become so popular? It's stuff like this. I think it was kind of the you got to keep in mind a fidget spinner was kind of like fidget toy that kind of came well during a time when fidget toys weren't really a thing, or at least they were a thing for kids more than anything. So I think that's why they became more popular, but also it was kind of it was sort of in the same style as like, I think they were called tech decks when I was a kid. Like those mini skateboards that you like tricks with fingers. It was a whole thing, right? I think it's some more trick based stuff. When I was really little, it was yo-yos, right? So I think it just kind of fit into that category. Like, it's been a kind of was like, oh, you can do, but you can do tricks with it, and you can also do um get cool ones and different styles and stuff. It was just a very like replicable item. Um, that was cool. But that's, I think, why it became so popular. And now the market is massively saturated with fidgets and stuff. So now we've got like, and we've now got more understanding of like why people benefit from fidgets, like fidget toys and stuff. And also, this is why that I think that getting diagnosed with another neurodiverse um in youth, because I know that a lot of kids when I was in got things like fidgets when they probably benefit. So I I don't know if I would have benefited. I was quite happy fiddling my pen, and dude, I can like spin pens like you do, like I spin pens like you do with drumsticks, and I got really good at it. I couldn't do it now, I don't think. But like I used to be really good at doing that, but that was how I fidgeted, and now and also I flapped more, I guess. But like now I'm an adult, it's like I just learned to like my own time, and things like fidgets weren't really a thing, and I just kind of thought I didn't need them, and then it kind of I don't have autism. I am autistic. I need to stop saying I have autism. Not the right wording for it, because like autism is like it's not. I am autistic. It's not something that I've got. It's something that I am. Like because it's I same person if I didn't have it. Whereas anxiety, I'll probably that makes sense. So I've got anxiety. Like I am autistic. So it's like that's what. It's so funny that I asked that when I got one from a friend. Cool. I have I got one at the height of it because I was in America and I got one. Got Superman. I don't know why I got it. I've never even seen Superman. I still got it. It's the only fidget spinner that out of the two I've got. It's the only one of the two fidget spinners. It's the one that's actually shaped like a fidget spinner, so that 3.1. Also got a Captain America Shield one that I got in a charity shop not that long ago. That's just a circular one. I really like that one. I don't really like the one. I find it a bit, but the Captain America one I find is a lot. I like that one. I like that one a lot because it doesn't make any sound. But I don't use it as much because it goes back to that thing of like fidgets. I prefer a fidgets thing or like are like definable, whereas like fidget spinner you can't really do a lot with other than you know. But one of my favorite fidgets was hammer, because one thing I used to do, I have wax stamps, right? If you don't know what that is, it's basically the old fashioned like letter sealers. So like you used to see on letters and they used to have red bits of wax with like a stamp print on it. I've got those because I send people cards and stuff that way, which is great. Amina and Mimi will tell you that I did that for them last year, but so I have those stamps, right? When I first got them, something I used to do was I used to spin one I had endlessly. My favorite thing, like I loved that, and I loved fidgeting with it. But I got so annoyed about the fact that I constantly doing it that I put it in a box and I didn't touch it. And then autism acceptance sort of happened, and I decided to facilitate that need by buying myself some fidgets. And one of the fidgets I bought was one of those spinning hammers. 10 out of 10 was my absolute favorite fidget. It was the one that I used while streaming constantly. It was on my desk. It lived on my desk permanently. I loved it. I've moved house now. I don't know where it's gone. I'm devastated. I think it's still at my parents', but it's like, Jesus Christ, I moved and I didn't bring it with me, and I'm like, no, I need it back. But I got a Tangle now, so it's great. Have you heard about chocolate bacon? No? What the fuck? What are you looking at? Bruh, what the fuck is that? What the shit? What? No, I haven't heard of chocolate bacon. What the shit? Bruh. I'm gonna have to wrap up stream soon. I'm sorry. I know I usually stream for like 2 hours, but the problem is I've got dinner and I've got to do like food and stuff, and it's gonna happen. Oh, speaking of that badge I ordered, it's arrived at my parents' house. Whoops. I'm still getting everything sent to my parents' house, by the way. I've started getting all my Amazon packages delivered to like my local like shop because I can do that. But I everywhere else I have to get it ordered to, like, my parents' house because I don't have a letterbox enough. Dude, the Amazon guy delivered something to my house the other day. It wasn't mine, it was for next door. And he just shoved it in the fucking letterbox, and like the corner was just hanging out. I'm like, my dude, literally I had to take it out the door. And I went to go and give it to next door, or I was just gonna hide it in their like hallway. And he was in their hallway delivering something else to their house, and he got the numbers mixed up. And I was like, oh, this is, I like genuinely such a stressful conversation because he didn't speak any English, and I don't really speak well to strangers. So like it was a real fun communication game of like charades with each other, trying to explain that it wasn't my address, it was the so that was fun. I also am not 100% sure if he did something else to them, but I don't think anything both picked up. That was I love it. Yeah, I try not to. I don't buy a lot on Amazon anyway, though, because free delivery is a thing, and you have to pay like £35 and to get free delivery. So I have to get my total up to free amount, and then Brian, but I'm way too shy to ask him. Right. I've like lived with this man for like nearly like 3 months at this point, right? I'm I've been like dating this guy for like over a year, right? And and I just don't want to ask him to order me shit on Prime, and I won't do it. God damn it. um, check it out. I don't know if I want to, Net. Jesus Christ. Right. Chocolate. I'm gonna regret this chocolate bacon. Is it chocolate covered bacon or just chocolate bacon? Oh my god. No! That, what the fuck? That's so gross. Oh. I mean, it kind of goes like, I'm not against like maple covered bacon, but like, jeez. Jeez. Jesus Christ. Okay. So, God, why is there so much hair on me? Dudes, I'm like shedding like a dog. What the fuck? I'm like covered in my hair. Bruh. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about your food choices. I'm judging hard, man. I'm judging hard. What was I talking about? I don't remember. Anyway, so we gotta get some stuff together. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't think this is gonna affect the streams at all. I will have a tag now on my like description tag that says them. That's just something I will have from now on in because what I do. Everyone always seems to put ADHD in their profile. Oh, that was something I didn't mention. So ADHD wise, because some people were like thinking I was gonna get diagnosed with ADHD. I wasn't gonna get diagnosed with ADHD. I did not pass the bar exam for that anyway. However, however, after the assessment, they did confirm to me that I do have some ADHD traits. Most of them being the ones that autism goes over with anyway, but there were still some in there that were worth noting. So I've got some ADHD traits, but they're not prevalent enough to, they weren't prevalent enough for them to recommend I get an diagnosis, because it's picked up on. So for anyone that's like, oh, are you like ADHD? No, I'm just like, oh, I am just, there is no ADHD. The ADHD more comes from like putting things down or not right order, getting about them, which get upset. That's a thing that I struggle with. So not really on that kind of crosses over. As in, like, if I get distracted, it causes me to kind of get upset because I'm not able to. I was like set on, if that makes sense. This is something I'm also gonna have to explain to my employers. They just don't seem to get that. Like when people ask me if I'm doing something else, that's a lot to ask. It's like it might be the small, but it's like if I don't have the right amount of food, it will probably be the end of the world. And I had it today. It was awful. I went like full on, just like I had a verbal shutdown, which is, by the way, if you're one of those people with self-diagnosed or otherwise, and you use terminology going non-verbal, um, just be aware that's not the best description. That I've used it in the past. I know a lot of people do because there isn't really a better word to describe it, but it is just, I think, just selective or situational mutism. I don't know which one I have, but what I do have is I do go through verbal shutdowns, which is the terminology from what I understand. But verbal shutdown just basically is like where I am having a meltdown or I've had a meltdown or I'm on the verge of a meltdown and I won't communicate with anyone. I will not like look at anyone. I will avoid people. And if people try and talk to me, I saw a turn. It's so it feels so rude. I like someone was trying to comfort me today, and I like genuinely was like I had like my fingers in my mouth, like chewing my nails, and like full on just having like a verbal shutdown, and I was just like not really in a position to anyone. And person, bless them, they kept trying to like make me feel okay, and I don't think they knew what to do. Keep in mind as well, despite the fact that I'm pretty open about the fact that I'm autistic now, I haven't told everyone, especially not everyone that I work with. So this person probably doesn't know, and so they were just like kind of in like a shell of myself. So I probably just looked ridiculous, but never mind. Anyway, why can I not be experimental? You can't. You know what? Go for it, my dude. Could never be me. I like what I like, and that's the end of it. Jeez, hello. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned, but like, by all means, let me know. Let us know how it goes, Net. Please. anyway, that being said, I'm probably gonna. I've got to sort out dinner and sort out this VOD, so please excuse. I'm so sorry that today was such a short stream. I kind of did just want to give the update on. If anyone has any, welcome to. Can't guarantee I'll answer all of it. Depending, but you know me, well. I will say, like, I'm just gonna announce it here because I said about it on Discord and I just like it's important to mention. I don't mind people wanting to be supportive and stuff about, right? However, please, 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 just be careful when sharing stuff. Symbolism that represents a organization called peeps. Expressively, the puzzle piece. It is very, very, very prevalent in the community. It is not a symbol that represents us. It is not a that anyone appreciates. And if you done the research properly and damage the Autism Speaks is a whole kind of worms that I don't know enough information about to really like talk about it in depth on here. I just know we're not a puzzle. It might be a puzzling condition, but realistically, like it's not a puzzle that fixed. Or like it's not that it's ever gonna be fixed. And it also implies that we don't fit in with the rest of the puzzle. The rest of the it's just like not a great representation. Like as a no, it's just it's huge prevalent. Good, and any research will tell you much. So just be aware of that when about autism or referencing. The symbolism that is preferred, but also not like I know some people don't like it. I don't really have it, but at this time. But symbolism that is preferred is the infinity, a rainbow infinity. The rainbow infinity typically represents neurodiversity in general. The gold infinity symbol represents, as I'm aware. This also gold symbol on the AU kind of fits in. I prefer the AU like science, like I think that's so much hard to find that on. But yeah, I just think that I just don't use the puzzle pieces for my ass. Like, please don't. Like, for many years, especially when we kind of were first looking at it back when we were like, oh, not because that's not. But when we were looking into that, puzzle piece was very prevalent back then, and now as an adult, diagnosed, I know that. Great. So yeah, anyway. Right, with that, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me today, guys. I'm sorry that it was such a short stream, and I'm also sorry that I kind of just sat and rambled about autism for like an hour and a half. Sorry. I will do it again. I know that this is kind of coming out of a place of I don't really have anything to play right now on Thursdays. I do have plenty of things, I just haven't got around to sorting them out yet. I've got a list of things to play at some point on stream. One of those things being, obviously, now that I have a diagnosis, I'm going to just I'm going to try and unmask more, and I'm going to try and kind of expose you guys more to my special interests. Which my special interest is a lot of different things, but at the minute it's kind of like really hyper focused on Monster High again, which is fantastic because there is many things I can. One of them being one of the games. So I will probably see about getting maybe the games to play on stream. Probably the one that I haven't played, which is Let's Go. I have played both 13 Wishes and Roller. I don't remember a long time ago. I completed Roller Maze, but I could not get past 13 Wishes, man. So I might see about being so bear with me on that. Anyway, guys, net redeem drink Dolly. Thank you, net. I will drink. Anyway, cool. I will leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me today, guys. I'm so sorry it was a brief stream, but better a brief one than none. So yeah, thank you for joining me. I'm so sorry that it was just a lot of rambling. I will probably give more updates on Discord about this. Will I create an own channel for this? Probably not at this time. Maybe in the future. I think it would be greatly validating for several people to have somewhere to talk about autism or ADHD. So I might look, but not really something I'm not knowledgeable enough to moderate. So there's that. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining me today, guys. I will see you all very soon. I love you all very dearly, and I will see you. Bye bye. Bye 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 bye.